Everything is streaming correctly over on YouTube. And it looks like we're good to go over there. So again, if you're just joining us right now, here's what we have going on. I'm meteorologist Chad Crilley. We are coming up on 4 o'clock, and we're streaming right now because of a significant fire that continues to burn at the moment just above Red Gum Road and to the west of Alpine Heights. This is the latest information that we have on this fire at the 4 o'clock hour, that the fire is, again, okay, so we have some new information coming in. I want to go ahead and read this off to you, and then we'll go over it. So as of 1 minute ago, 3:57, again, I'm meteorologist Chad Crilley. We're following breaking news of a significant fire with a dangerous rate of spread that is burning east of Dehesa above Red Gum Road. It is trying to make a run right now at Bear View Way, Alpine Trail Road, Kevin Court, and the general vicinity, of course, of Alpine Heights. Right now, here's what we know. A wireless emergency alert, that is a reverse 911 call, has been issued to zones SDC 1868. We'll look at that area in just a second. An evacuation order has been issued for a fire, again, the one that we are tracking right now, this is east of Dehesa. And again, this is exactly what the reverse 911 call said. So let me read it out to you. For those of you who are in this area, you received a reverse 911 call that says an evacuation order has been issued for a fire near 1600 block of Dehesa. All persons in the affected area need to evacuate to help ensure their safety. We now have the parameter zones that are visible to us. We're going to take a look at those in just a moment, but I want to read off to you specifically the evacuation zones, just so you know. We knew that these evacuations would be forthcoming. We now have a evacuation order that is a level 3. It means you must go for SDC 1868. So that is one zone that received that reverse 911 call saying you must go. And that entire zone, by the way, is located in this area. I'm going to take the fire icon off for just a second, but this entire zone, again, has just received a reverse 911 call telling them that they must evacuate. So this includes Bearview Way, Alpine Trail Road, Alpine Heights Road. These are some areas that are immediately threatened by this fire. The evacuation orders go, it looks like, all the way out to Alpine Heights. The latest information that we had was the fire was at 15 acres. However, right now it continues to spread at a dangerous rate, so that it is likely well above 15 acres. We know that there is an air tanker and a copter that have been requested at this time to assist in fighting the fire, and an additional strike team, which means 5 fire engines that have been requested by Incident Command, who are operating and watching this fire. I want to take you over right now to a look, before we go back to a live look at the fire, of some of the areas that are under the mandatory evacuation zone. So this is zone 1868. And again, San Diego County splits up their evacuations by zones. This is the zone that is right now under a mandatory level 3 go order. And it was some of those spots that I was just highlighting a few moments ago, like Alpine Trail Road. The fire right now is actually burning down Michelle Renee Way. The fire is burning down Michelle Renee Way, coming up over the mountain, and is trying to make a run towards Alpine Trail Road. Immediately threatened some spots like Tompu Road there, as well as Denova Drive. I'm just reading some of these off to you. Grace Lane, as well as Real Way Lane, all under evacuation orders, which means you must go. Again, there's another live look at the fire. You can see some of the very thick black smoke that continues to plume into the air. We have a ground response that is working this fire right now. We also know at this time that at least one helicopter has been requested. We know that an air tanker has been requested to dump fire retardant upon the flames. You're looking at live pictures courtesy of Alert California and UC San Diego. I'm wondering if perhaps we can get a better angle at this fire by changing our cameras up just a little bit. And this is just a little bit wider of a view. And again, we are looking towards the east here at the fire, which is spreading, or excuse me, we're looking from the west towards the east at the fire, which continues to spread towards the east. So the view that we're likely looking at right now of this fire, more than likely, is going to be back. Well, we know from where our position, our camera is positioned, we know the view that we just saw a moment ago is over here in Crest and Suncrest and near Harbison Canyon, and then we're looking east towards the flames, which are now, again, here's actually almost an approximate location of where the flames and the fires are, near Michelle Renee Way, coming down the mountain there, near Michelle Renee Way, Alpine Trail Road, right where Alpine Trail Road meets up with Michelle Renee Way, is a spot that is being immediately threatened. I'm going to take off the information there for just a second because I'm able to give you real-time information now instead of typing it in and having you view it. But again, for anybody joining, we continue to follow breaking news right now of a significant fire that is spreading at a extremely dangerous rate of spread to the west of Alpine Heights. This is above Red Gum Road and southeast of Harbison Canyon. And so there is a evacuation order that is now in effect for zones 1868. That is the only zone that we have at this time. However, it is a highly populated area, and so let me get back into my system here, and I'm going to turn the fire icon off for just a second. This is the zone that has been placed under a mandatory evacuation order, all in here. So we're talking about Alpine Trail Road, Alpine Heights Road, Lilac Lane, out near Denova Drive, and west of Alpine Heights. The evacuation order, that level 3 evacuation order, goes almost up to Alpine Heights. It stops right here, kind of running along South Grade Road, and then anywhere west of there and about south of, we can say west of South Grade Road, west of Alpine Heights, is where we have the evacuation orders that are now currently in effect. And so this continues to be a significant fire that we're following, and anywhere that I have circled there in yellow is an immediate threat. Structures that are immediately threatened with mandatory evacuation orders, a level 3 go that is in place right now. Where is the fire itself? Where are the flames? And again, I continue to monitor behind the scenes any updates. When I see those, I'll pass them along to you. But one thing that you are not going to get by looking online at any updates is real-time information on exactly where the flames are right now, and we're able to provide that to you. So here, by the way, I'm going to show you right now kind of where those flames are actively burning. So you see Crest Nest Lane there. So over here we have Crest Nest Lane. The flames are burning above Crest Nest Lane in this area, just to the southeast of Harbison Canyon. Now, Harbison Canyon is obviously seeing a lot of very dark, thick, black smoke. However, the fire is moving away from you. It's spreading east, and it's trying to make a run down the mountain here. So we have flames that continue to actively burn in this location, which is the mountainous terrain above Crest Nest Lane. And then, of course, you have Michelle Renee Way, and we can tell you that Michelle Renee Way and the properties here near Michelle Renee Way all the way down to Alpine Trail Road are being immediately threatened by the flames. And we told you about that evacuation order that's in effect for zone 1868. The reverse 911 call has been sent. I also have some new information I want to pass along to you, that there is a temporary evacuation point that has been set up right now. It is located at the east side of lot of Viejas Casino, and the actual address of that is 5000 Willows Road, Alpine, California, obviously, 91901. So a temporary evacuation point now set up on the east side lot of Viejas Casino. So it's located at Viejas Casino on the east side of the lot there at Viejas Casino. 5000 Willows Road in Alpine. What you're looking at right now on your screen is where I believe flames are actively burning, or at least attempting to run down this canyon towards Michelle Renee Way and then get up to Alpine Trail Road. So I want to check back with our live camera network here and see if anything new is visible to us at this point. You know, these things obviously change in real time. And the camera that we're looking at is near Suncrest. That is the UC San Diego Alert California camera that has been giving us kind of the best angle of this flames and these flames. And so here's another wider view from our camera in Suncrest that is looking towards the east. And there's some good news here, if you will. Just kind of looking at the presentation of the flames and the fire. You'll remember about 15 minutes ago or so, we were looking at visible active flames. Now, there is still smoke, and the color of that smoke is very important. The smoke color itself right now it appears to be brown, almost very gray. So I think that there are flames that still continue to burn for sure. It would appear, though, that perhaps that there is a little bit of support that is working on this fire. We know, obviously, in terms of support itself, that an air tanker was requested. I'll be checking in just a moment to see where that air tanker is. An additional copter has been requested, and an additional strike team. We already had one, but a strike team with 5 full fire engines have been requested to the Alpine Heights area where this fire is currently burning. So you're looking again at a live picture from near Crestview, and the camera is pointed towards the east. You can see the very thick black dark smoke from the fire that continues to kind of cover the skyline there, and then closer to the ground, the proximity of the fire itself, we still see smoke that is of the grayish color, but I can tell you it looks a lot different. The presentation is looking a lot different than what it was about 15 minutes ago or so when we had visible flames that were burning in this area. Right now we can't see the flames. I'm not sure if that's because, I'm not sure if we can't see the flames because at this point, again, our camera is located near Suncrest. So here's Suncrest. This is Suncrest, where our camera is located, and it's pointed towards the east. The fire is burning in here. We did at one point, we had visible flames up in this area. Now we can't see those visible flames. What I wonder, and what we don't really have the answer to, at least at this moment, is whether or not it is because those flames are kind of burning down the mountain and we're not getting as clear as a view. But regardless, we know for a fact that we can pinpoint that it's in these hills up here that are above Crestnet Lane, between Crestnet Lane and Michelle Renee Way, all the way up to Kevin Court is where the fire, we know the fire is burning right this second. And then obviously we have evacuation orders that have been sent out, reverse 911 calls, to this area and here. And it's pretty much, we know it's a zone, but we know it is pretty much running west of South Grade Road, west of downtown Alpine Heights, and covers the circled area here, which includes Alpine Trail Road, Alpine Heights Road, where Lilac Lane kind of runs south and meets up with Willits Road. There's Bremen Way, Denova Drive, all spots that are under the mandatory evacuation orders at this point because of this fire. And I am just continuing to look back right now at the fire itself as you look at the areas that are under the evacuation orders at this point. Again, that is zone 1868, and this is dubbed the Dehesa 7 fire at this point, which is burning east of Dehesa. And we again, what we're watching for is any updates, of course, from officials. We are also kind of waiting to see, sometimes the fastest way that we know information is just by looking at our camera network. and seeing the color of the smoke. And so I'm going to pull back now our live camera from near Suncrest. It's actually in Crest, of this fire. You can see that there are definitely some angles of some thicker black smoke on the left-hand side of your screen. I continue to wait for updates as to what exactly is occurring in terms of acreage. We know the last update that we had was the fire was around 15 acres, but it was spreading at an extremely rapid rate of spread. So it is probably closer to like 30 to 35 acres. That's just a general estimate. But again, we continue to watch the presentation of our camera, which is located in Crest, near Suncrest, pointed towards the east. So it's a few miles away from the fire itself. And just kind of looking at the column of smoke that is being emanated into the air, a good sign that we like to see is we're not seeing the flames anymore on this camera, but what we are seeing, we're still seeing some white smoke, and then back here on the left-hand side of your screen, there could be some spots of a little bit darker smoke. And again, the actual position of the camera that you're looking at right now, where we're seeing that thicker black smoke, is going to be in here between Kevin Court. The closest roadways, homes, property are between Kevin Court and Michelle Renee Way, and that is just to the west of Alpine Trail Road. Is where, again, you saw from that live image at least one aerial shot of where there could be some thicker black smoke kind of on the left-hand side of your screen. That would likely be, again, near Michelle Renee Way, up to about Kevin Court there. Somewhere in there is where flames continue to actively burn. And there's another live shot again. Obviously, if you live in San Diego and you're looking towards the east, you're seeing a lot of this smoke that's being sent up into the air. I don't have any new updates for you. Again, here's what I know at this time, and I'm going to pass it along to you. So here's kind of what we know. An evacuation order is in place first of all, I'm going to zoom this down a little bit again, just so you can see this is where I think we still have active flames that continue to burn in here somewhere. We know that this time we have evacuation orders that are in effect. Actually, we have a brand new coming out right now. Well, actually, it looks like they have split. Here's what I mean. So they've kind of split up these evacuation zones. So you have SDC 1867. That covers, again, some of the areas that I was talking to you about out near Alpine Trail Road, Kevin Court, Michelle Renee Way, kind of getting into Alpine Heights Road, Via Cornea, Alpine Heights Lane. Those are the spots that are in this kind of first 1867 zone, which is, again, a level 3 evacuation order. And then we have, looks like they've split the zone a little bit now, and they do this sometimes, where we have SDC 1868. And that is, again, probably a little bit further ahead of where the flames are right now, but it is still an evacuation order, which goes almost up to Alpine Heights itself. So we can pull back our graphics here, and I'll show you. I can kind of split it into two different zones, so to speak, that they have been talking about. And I would say one is more serious than the other. You have kind of zone 1 in here. This is going to be obviously where we have the highest threat, and then zone 2 in here, which is also under a mandatory evacuation order, down near South Grade Road, coming up to almost Alpine Heights. But again, zone 1 and 2, they've split up, both under mandatory evacuation orders. Obviously, the most serious zone at this time is going to be closest to where the flames are burning, which is zone 1867. And we can tell you that, of course, from latest information that we had, the flames are burning somewhere up in this vicinity. And that would be very close. We had some aerial shots very close to Michelle Renee Way and Kevin Court. That almost gets into, spots like Alicia Way, Sherry Road there, North Alpine Trail Road. All spots too where the flames again appear to be burning above the mountains there, and those areas are obviously under mandatory evacuation orders, the level 3 go order. Here's another live look from Crest, and again, I'm not seeing as thick of smoke, or the smoke is not as black as it was maybe 20 to 25 minutes ago or so. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump off stream, but I want to leave you with the very latest information. Again, you're taking a live look at the Dehesa 7 fire, where we have evacuation orders that are in effect right now. The latest information that we had was the fire was at 15 acres, spreading at an extremely rapid rate of spread, burning above Kevin Court, in this area here to the east of Crow's Nest Lane, and getting very close as well to Michelle Renee Way and Alpine Trail Road. So we know that we have flames that have been burning in this area. They're trying to make a run downhill. Obviously, the folks out ahead of this in this area near Alpine, west of, let's call it downtown Alpine Heights, west of downtown Alpine Heights, all in this area have been placed under evacuation orders. We do have, of course, a temporary evacuation shelter that has been set up at Viejas Casino, which, of course, the address of that is 5000 Willis Road in Alpine. So we will continue to keep you up to date, bring you the latest information on this fire on social media. Should we have any more breaking information, learn about any structures that are actively being burned, we will come back on stream and jump online. Again, we continue to cover right now the Dehesa fire. Again, this is the Dehesa 7 fire with evacuation orders for SDC 1867 and 16. Well, we're not going to jump off stream yet because now I have some new information I want to pass along to you. So, the evacuation order has been issued for zone 1867. This is an upgrade from its previous warning status. So let me kind of pull out for a second and give you the bigger picture. We know where the flames are burning, but in terms of evacuation zones, it can get kind of confusing. So let me kind of pull this for you. So we have a new area, we have a couple new areas. Anywhere that you see shaded in red, that is an evacuation order where you must go. There is an immediate threat to property and life if you choose to stay. Anywhere that you see shaded in yellow, that is an evacuation warning, a level 2, which means you must get ready to go. You don't necessarily have to leave, but the fire and the flames are close enough to your proximity that it is in your best interest to kind of pack the bags, sit by the doorstep, if you will, and then if the fire changes its direction, its spread, rate of spread, if anything changes, then obviously those would be upgraded to evacuation orders. So evacuation orders, level 3, again, comes pretty much up to Alpine Heights, west of Alpine Heights, along Grace Lane, and the kind of level 2, the new information we have. You can see a couple new areas have been added to the level 2, which is anywhere that you see shaded in that yellow color there. And our camera that we've been looking at has been pointed towards Crest. I want to see if we can't get a better angle here. This is the Alert California UC San Diego cams that we're using. So here's like a little bit more of a zoomed in image, and I don't see again as much smoke that is black. I don't see the flames anymore, but that could just be because the view is being obscured. We're not getting a great view from the camera. But obviously, again, we can really get down to ground level and tell you that the fire has been burning in this vicinity here, which is above Crow's Nest Lane, above Kevin Court, and then I believe we also have Michelle Renee Way. And so the flames have been burning in this area. Now, as a precaution, you have the mandatory evacuation orders, which have been sent out, that look something like this. And it runs in that general area. That means you must go. The flames are trying to make it downhill into, obviously, a very populated part of the San Diego County Metro, west of Alpine Heights. So Lilac Lane, Corny Way, obviously Alpine Trail Road, Alpine Heights Road, Kevin Court. These are some of the areas that you've been hearing me say over and over and over again. These are spots where if you know somebody and they haven't left yet, maybe they don't have their phone on them, you need to let them know that there are evacuation orders, which is level 3. You must go. Now, one thing we have not done yet and that I would like to do is go ahead and check on the weather in this area. So here's Alpine Heights. Here's kind of what we've been talking about. There's South Grade Road. You're looking at the same map of where, again, we believe that there are flames that are burning. And we know up in the hills above Kevin Court, above Alpine Trail Road, above Bearview Way, Alpine Heights Road, west of Lilac Lane, where Lilac Lane meets up with Wiltis Road, in the mountains there. And it is trying to make a downhill run. Latest information that we had, and this is probably 30 minutes ago now, again, that the fire was 15 acres, more than likely to surpass that, but I want to go ahead and check on the weather. First, let's check on temps. So right now you have temperatures in the flames, in the vicinity of the flames, that are obviously extremely hot. Today is a hot day in San Diego County. Upper 90s, close to about 100 degrees. That is one thing that is going to make it, and probably has made it, very hard to fight the flames. It's just the pure fact that we have temperatures that are in the upper 90s, close to 100 degrees. We're looking at the dew points now, and again, today is not a Santa Ana day in San Diego. It's just a hot summer day. Dew points have improved since yesterday. We're close to 60 degrees. There's moisture in the air. So that is probably less of a factor than it would have been yesterday. The winds are light, at about 9 miles per hour or so. We also know at some point fire kind of makes its own weather. When a fire becomes larger, it starts making its own weather. Now here's something interesting, and this is mostly unrelated to the fire, but kind of talking about how there's moisture in the air. We do have one thunderstorm that has developed here this afternoon. It's like a lone cell that has drifted out of Baja, and again is trying to push towards the north. Clover Flat, Tierra del Sol, Live Oak Springs, likely getting some moderate to heavy rainfall. I do not think that there is any chance at all that any of this activity, the thunderstorm activity that we're seeing right now out in southeastern San Diego County, is going to make it as far west as where we are covering the flames and the fire that is being burned right now. There's a 0% chance today of that happening. We don't want it to happen necessarily either, because lightning is one thing in one element that we can't necessarily predict. But like I said, just a few moments ago, kind of query this off for a second. That's sort of the area right there that is under the mandatory evacuation orders where you must go. So we're going to continue to keep you up to date. If anything new and dramatic changes, we'll jump back on live stream. We'll take a short break for now and then pop back on as we know more. Again, another live look right now at the flames, which there's a lot less in the way of thick black smoke than there was about an hour ago or so. So that's good news. Any updates I'll continue to pass along to you on social media and, of course, here as well. For now, have a great afternoon and stay safe.